everyone to the Punk Rock Horror Podcast. I'm Matt.
I'm Cody.
And today we're here to remind you that 13 Reasons Why is still an awful show.
Dev's gonna hate you so much about that.
But today's episode, we're talking about some of our favorite...
We're
talking about fucking Yu-Gi-Oh!
You going to...
Oh, God.
You hitting puberty again right now?
Boy, I hope they let me record on the new album.
Yu-Gi-Oh!
It's a Brady Bunch reference right there.
Yeah.
But today we're talking about monster movies and some of our favorites that we have grown up with.
That's our sad Godzilla attack.
It's a good...
Yeah.
And if you're still with us after that 45 seconds of torture...
That wasn't that long.
I mean, it probably feels like an hour to some listeners.
Yeah, especially you. You know who I'm talking to.
You person, you.
You specifically.
We're looking at you.
You.
I actually have no idea who we're talking about, but you. You.
Shake that soldier boy. Soldier boy and tell him.
So, how's it been, Cody?
Not too bad. Mostly been working a lot and playing my Switch.
Nice.
A lot.
Nice.
A lot. That's all I do.
Is it a lot?
A lot.
Okay.
Yeah, I got Hyrule Warriors. Game is so fucking good.
Is it?
Yeah, I was never super into the Dynasty Warrior games, but I like their spin-off games like the Gundam one. And actually I think that was the only real spin-off one that they had.
No, they've had Berserk. They've had
I want to play the Berserk
Samurai
one.
Warriors. They've had Fire Emblem Warriors.
That's new.
They have Dragon Cross Warriors.
Dragon Cross Warriors?
Quest, sorry.
Quest.
You can
that's
also,
another one that just kind of came out.
You could also, I guess, you can also include their Game Boy one. But that's like Conquest, and that's like a crossover with like Pokemon and the Samurai Warriors franchise. It's like,
yeah.
But that's not a hack and slash.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know why. Because it's that style of gameplay is something that I usually would go towards, just because it's mindless. You literally just hack up hundreds and hundreds of enemies, and literally to the thousands in one battle.
Right.
And I don't know, just because I don't know why I never played them as much, because you could just literally put on death metal and just fucking cut the shit out of things.
You know where I'm at with it. Why I love that series.
Yeah, so I'm super excited. I've been playing Hyrule Warriors a lot, so that one's really it's really good. Plus, at GameStop, they were doing this cool deal where you get this tote bag or whatever.
Yeah.
And you stuff it with the collectibles and whatnot, and you get a whole 25% off your entire purchase. So I got some new Rick and Morty comics, which are actually really good. And the cool thing about it is they almost tie into the show to the point where it shows the adventures that the show won't do. You know how
No, yeah, you've talked about this before.
Yeah, where they're because you can tell Morty gets smarter and knows a bunch of Rick shit, but they never show the episodes where how he knows these things. So it's kind of cool seeing their side adventures, because they're doing adventures that aren't in the show. So,
right. No, I got you.
Yeah, so I'm excited to read those, and I got a new Mario amiibo just for Super Mario Odyssey, because that game makes me cry of how good it is.
I hear it's great.
It's just fantastic.
That's good. I'm glad you're enjoying it.
I am.
It's good.
Yeah, and then fucking funny thing. So me, Dev, and Audrey, we usually try at least once a week go to City Park and feed the ducks.
Right.
In this last time we went, those geese were assholes. They were starting to bite Dev when she didn't even have bread in her hand, because they wanted her to feed them so bad. So she felt so bad, because there's been not baby geese, but adolescent, tiny geese and stuff. They're not quite babies.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Yeah, so and so she kept trying to feed this one, and it kept getting bit by all the other geese to get the food, the bread and stuff. And so she finally got to stand behind her, and she was feeding that one, the baby goose. And every time she would go, she would put the bread down, he'd eat it, and then it would bite her hand, right afterwards. And so she got so pissed, because one of the geese was, looking like they were going to bite Audrey's finger. She literally just shoves it into the water, and the goose, honks, and it looked up at us the fuck just happened? I didn't know geese could have expressions, but that one definitely had one of, the fuck? Did she just touch me?
I mean, geese have personalities.
All right, yeah. It goes from majestic to asshole.
My brother's afraid of geese.
To dinner.
My brother's afraid of geese.
Is he?
That's all I can really like connect with. To be fair, though, I mean, what did Dev do to piss off the geese? I mean, maybe she
Nothing. We just sat there and we were feeding
that.
everything.
You know, maybe she went there by herself and she's like, "Fuck you, geese! I have thumbs."
No, she's been wanting to like take one home.
Dev would.
I know. That's the thing. She keeps saying, "I'm gonna take you home." Every time we're talking to him, and then they start biting her.
To be fair, though, I also want a pet pig. So
yeah, but that's different.
They're so cute. Just
pet pigs can also be trained.
I know.
A goose? No, fuck that thing. I'm gonna snap its neck in this first night staying over. I can see Deb bringing it into the house. I'm like, "Look, Cody, I got a new pet." Snap dinner, you mean?
Look, I don't care what you say. It's way funnier thinking of you just like sleeping, and then like 10 a.m. rolls around and just like this goose's head slowly pops up from the side of your bed, just.
I would hate it so
much.
much.
Oh my god!
I'm hoping it would just pester Harrison since his bed isn't lifted.
That'd be so funny.
Because I could just imagine like hearing Harrison going,
just hear like the flapping of the wings, and he's just like rolling around in his room. Just, oh god!
What's going on? Don't you do it, Dev. Don't you fucking dare.
Do it. I support this.
Don't do it. It'll be dinner.
So a couple things I want to talk about before we jump in is I want to give some credit and some support to a podcast that actually influenced me to come to you and start this podcast with you is the No Sleep podcast. Reason I want to great. No, I want to throw them a little support because recently they've been dealing with some troubles in their community, their fan community. Because I guess like they've just been having characters in their scary stories, which I should probably go a little more detail. If you don't know what this No Sleep podcast is, it's a horror themed podcast that tells horror stories by professional narrators and professional music to accompany it. It's actually really good, and I strongly recommended it to all of our horror fans and horror listeners. If you want another good horror podcast to listen to that strictly tells stories, check them out if you haven't yet. But so recently they've been including like LGBTQ characters in their stories, and the characters aren't the focus of the story at all. It just happens to be like a guy who's married to a guy or a woman who's married to a woman. Like that's literally all it is. Yeah. It's just like it's not a focus of the story the same way that a straight man's married to a straight woman. Yeah. And that's not the focus of the story. Yeah. Like you get what I mean? Yeah. So I guess they've had some of their own listeners say if you're going to include any more LGBTQ characters, I'm not going to listen. Like I don't know if it's gone to the point where like they're going to protest it, but I do know they said they weren't going to listen. So David Cummings, he runs the whole podcast, came out and basically said that I will not be threatened and I will not give in to these demands, and I'd rather lose these listeners than keep them, basically, is what he was saying. Yeah. And I want to commend him for that, because he's not doing this for attention. He's not including LGBTQ characters for attention or anything like that. Yeah. He's just like, it's a good horror story, and we're including it. Yeah. Pure and simple. And he's standing up for the LGBTQ listeners in their fan base and their narrators that are part of that community as well. And I want to commend him for that, because I think it's really shitty that David Cummings has been doing his podcast for about like 4 or 5 years now. Yeah. And has put a lot of hard work into it. And actually is like, they're really cool with their fans, very nice. And like, they're very, responsive. And they try to actually give the best amount of work every time. And the fact that there's listeners like, if you're going to include a gay character, I'm not even going to listen. Like, it's fucked up. And I don't blame David that when he's like, I don't care if I lose you as a listener, because it would be the same thing for us. Yeah. If we had any listeners on our podcast who were like, I don't want you to do a movie review of this movie because it has gay characters in it, then we would politely tell you to fuck off. Yeah, seriously. And it's like the sad thing about it too is like in my head, like the LGBT community and stuff like that, I feel like to me, it's so normal anymore to like be actual gay people and stuff like that. It shouldn't bug you. Like, right. It should be just normal. It's like, oh,
this is my husband, blah, blah, blah. It's like, oh, cool. Well, nice to meet you. Instead, it's like,
what?
What? You like...
You kiss guys?
Yeah, it's like, that's so fucking dumb. Like, I don't think it's a stupid argument to, like, say, it's like, oh, the Bible's against it, blah, blah, blah. It's like, fuck off.
I mean, the Bible also condones stoning people, so...
And the Bible also says it's a sin to eat shrimp, and guess who eats shrimp? A lot of people.
Well, I guess next time I'm eating shrimp, hail Satan.
Yeah, I know. I just think, like, the fact that kind of bigotry is still such a prevalent thing.
It's fucking...
so dumb.
You know, it's the cliche, it's fucking 2018, and it's, like... It's true. Like, it's fucking 2018. Like, here's the... like, there's so much other... crazy ass shit going on in this fucking world and in the U.S. in general that just fucking you gotta get mad about gay characters.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know, there's fucking children dying of starvation. There are
homeless vets.
There is sexual trafficking or sex trafficking. There is homeless vets that aren't being taken care of.
Yeah.
There's legitimate issues that are worth getting angry about. And you're getting mad about a fictitious story that has two gay characters in it that the fact they're gay isn't even the focus of the fucking story.
No, it's fucking dumb. It's just like, really?
Really.
That's what you're getting mad about.
These are probably the same people that bitched about the fact that they can't blow shit up on 4th of July.
Probably.
I hate those people. Why do we have to have drones? Why can't we shoot up fireworks? Oh, my sensibilities. Oh, God, this isn't America. And then they just kind of blow up.
Yeah.
In guts and fire because they're too fucking stupid.
I know.
Oh, God. Lastly, before we move on, I know we're taking a minute here, listeners. This actually does have a point here. And we want to give some respects to the late Steve Ditko, to which, if you don't know who he is, he was the co-creator of
Spider-Man.
The famous Spider-Man.
So I've been calling Spider-Man Spooderman for
no,
so
I know,
long now. Like, I just can't help it going, oh, Spooderman. But no, seriously, like, it's really a sad day, like, when the co-creator of pretty much the face of Marvel Comics, like,
and you know, I was actually,
like,
sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. I apologize.
I was like, well, it's just one of those things. I get sad because, like, he helped create pretty much, like, the hero of the kids, like,
yeah,
you know, because, like, whenever someone thinks about Marvel, they think most times they'll think about Spider-Man,
yeah,
you know, especially when it comes to comics. So it's just like, it sucks.
Well, I was talking about it with our buddy Nate the other day, and I was like, because we give him a hard time over the fact that he likes Spider-Man, but yesterday I was actually talking about it. I was like, you know what's really kind of astounding is there is no one else in the world that can say that they co-created Spider-Man besides Stan Lee.
Yeah.
Like, and that kind of just like blows my mind.
Yeah.
Because like this one guy, like his bragging right is he fucking helped create Spider-Man, one of the most influential and noteworthy fictitious characters ever made. Yeah. And it just like I made the joke with him, like, if that was me, I would never drop that shit ever.
No, like, be at a bar and just be like, hey, how's it going? I created Spider-Man. Who?
Just, like, oh yeah, I just got back my tour from Iraq. You know, I actually came back honorably discharged as a sergeant. I've done a great job. You know, and I'm glad to be home. I've received numerous honors and rewards. It's great. I fucking created Spider-Man. Lauren would just be like, you need to take out the trash. You need to get off my ass because I made fucking Spider-Man. I don't gotta do jack shit.
Yeah. Why don't you thwip your ass over there and take out the garbage now?
And then she would just respond and be like, go ahead, Matt. Tell us how much you made Spider-Man. Tell everyone, because you're so great.
You're like, I will. And then I could just see you, like, posting it on Facebook. I created Spider-Man.
Just reminding everyone, for the 500th day straight, I still created Spider-Man. So, rest in peace to Steve Ditko. He actually... is going to be a sorely missed legend, and we do send condolences to his family and friends and any of the fans who were affected by his passing.
Yeah, especially all us nerds. All of us comic nerds.
All of us nerds.
Yeah.
Let's stand together as one with our heavy breathing.
Spider-Man.
With my new magic deck, I have a great mana pool set up to where it's not too much, but not too little for my water deck.
Get out.
That's usually how it goes with Magic players. Oh!
Sad thing is,
Yu-Gi-Oh! Is fucking better!
sad thing is, I have a water deck.
I know. It's okay. We love you, Magic players. We got to hit on everyone at least once.
Yeah.
So, going forward. So, yeah, let's talk about some monster movies, man.
Monsters!
So, monster movie, creature feature, or giant monster film is a disaster film that focuses on a group of characters struggling to survive attacks by one or more antagonistic monster, often abnormally large ones. The film might also fall under the horror/comedy, fantasy, or science fiction genres. Monster movies originated with adaptations of horror, folklore, and literature. Typically, movie monsters differ from more traditional antagonists in that many exist due to circumstances beyond their control. Their actions are not entirely based on choice, potentially making them objects of sympathy to film viewers.
To film Vilvers?
You know what I meant.
Viewers.
So, and I got all this. I got all this from Wikipedia. Yeah. So let's talk about that first. Let's talk about some of our monster movies, and we do have a listener participation corner.
How you doing on Facebook? Okay.
On Facebook and Twitter. So I'll go to the Twitters. If you go to the Facebooks, Cody, to our tweeters.
I'm getting there.
But before we get, as we're getting there, so I'll start this off talking about some of my favorites. So my go-to ones have always been like Godzilla. When I was a kid, I've always loved the Godzilla movies, and I loved them so much that I hated it whenever there was actually scenes of people talking. Like, I only wanted to see Godzilla blowing shit up and shooting fire. And then, like, I kind of like to really start to think about it, right? Like, how many monster movies I really liked, and started thinking about it. Like, Power Rangers kind of fits in that norm.
Yeah, because I had the Monster of the Week.
Yeah, they always had the Monster of the Week, and they always had being a giant robot fighting giant monsters. And then thinking about it even more, I'm like, I love Jurassic Park, which could technically be considered a monster movie.
Well, it's considered a creature feature.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. Like, creature feature is like roped in with monster movies.
Yep.
Or vice versa, to whichever way you want to look at it. And like thinking about like there's even King Kong. Like, I actually like the remake. I think that was made in the 60s. It was either 60s or 70s.
The non-black and white one.
No, it was the black and white one. I think.
Black and white one's the original.
Was it? Okay, then I guess I'm mistaken. Then yeah, I do love the original King Kong. Like, I actually, like, despite how bad the costume is, like, it's actually
yeah, it's just dude in gorilla suit.
And I actually really like that, and I think I just being a kid filled with ADHD.
Yeah,
I just loved watching movies with shining explosions and things just being thrown across the room and just like fucking shit up.
Well, and mine was definitely Godzilla. I mean, me and my dad had a lot of Godzilla movies on VHS. Right. To those of you younguns who don't know what a VHS is, it's basically a DVD in a giant square plastic box that you put in this.
It could be used as a weapon.
Yes, and when the film was over, you had to rewind the whole tape.
And if it wasn't rewound before when you put it in, you would have to wait till it's rewound. Mm-hmm. It's like the longest 30 minutes of your life.
It really was. Like, me and my dad actually had a rewind machine for tapes.
Oh,
like,
nice.
Outside the VCR.
I know, you were like the shiznit if you had a rewind machine.
I know.
Like, what?
But yeah, I always watched a lot of Godzilla. I always forget his name. The giant turtle.
Oh, I know.
Gamora.
Gamera. Yes.
I watched a lot of Gamera.
I love that dude. He's so fucking weird. It's great. He's like a cyborg turtle.
No, he's not a cyborg. He's just a giant mutant snapping turtle.
I say he's a cyborg turtle because he has jets that come out of his legs.
It's not cyborg.
I still consider it.
No, he's just that awesome.
No, I'm not saying he isn't.
Okay,
he's great.
But yeah, and then of course Power Rangers. Watch all the creature of the week, and because they would always turn into giant monsters, so they could have an excuse to do the Zord.
Except it definitely got weird when it was like a girl like who wasn't a monster, but she was like some sort of mutant.
Oh yeah.
And, like she was like wearing like she was basically like sexually exploitive. Like she
yeah.
And she would grow real tall and it'd give you an up camera view
yeah,
of like
her skirt.
through her vagina, and you're just like,
this is oddly arousing. It's like, Dad, what's going on?
Why do I feel weird? Why does this feel good? Why do I feel the need to touch my privates?
I don't understand. I don't know what's going on here.
And to our LGBTQ listeners, they were probably more like, that is a god-awful fucking outfit. And if that was a negative stereotype, I'm sorry.
But, yeah, and then, not just giant monster movies, but I always loved the monster movie genre. Like, that was kind of one of my favorites. And it's like, the thing that sucks is, like, you can't really find a whole lot of really good ones anymore right now. Well, like giant monsters.
No, I think, we found some.
I know we did.
But, what I was thinking about it too, and it's just kind of weird because it's like most of them weren't terrifying; they were just fun to watch. And being like a horror movie podcast, it's kind of like interesting doing subject because like the ones that are terrifying tend to like be in the more sci-fi realm, like more so like Starship Troopers, Aliens, stuff like Predator, like if you want to consider Predator,
because he was more of a humanoid.
Yeah. I kind of don't, just because he's not a giant monster, but at the same time, still, though. But before we move on, we do, because we started this off, we are going to give some time to our listener participation. Do you want to do... I have less on the Twitter than you do on the Facebook. Do you want to do the Twitter first?
Yeah, let's do the Twitter.
So the question we posed out to everyone was, hey there, folks, today we're going to be talking about some of our favorite monster movies we grew up with, and want to know what are some of your favorites that you grew up with. And... you beautiful, handsome, amazing, and sexy listeners out there have replied. So from Art of the Crow on Twitter, he came out to us and said, I would have to say the xenomorphs from the Alien movies. Every time since I first saw them, I became a huge fan of H.R. Geiger and his artwork. Plus, there's the fact that it's not only... a good killing and it's scary. It's good at killing and it's scary, but it's also not scary enough to be too afraid of it, I think is what he meant. And that the fact that he wasn't too scared of the second mouth and the acid blood, or I think he was saying he was scared of it.
Yeah.
So, which basically I get what he's talking about, because the xenomorph look is very unique.
It is.
And it's something to definitely admire. From Anna at Anna Keeson. I know your cousin reached out to us again. That's so nice of her. She jokingly replied with Garfield.
I mean, it was a monstrous movie.
Oh, you can see the bloodlust in his eyes. And then from Punk Rock Ian, at Punk Rock Ian XP, said, I've always been a big Frankenstein fan. Everything about the 1931 Boris Karloff film fascinates me. The acting, the sets, it's just true movie magic. To which, if you want to go on our Twitter, guys, you can actually see a picture of a tattoo he has on his leg of Frankenstein.
That's actually Frankenstein for Halloween one time.
Because Frankenstein's the original rockabilly punk rock monster.
Frankenstein's monster, if you want to get technical.
No, I know, because they don't really get it, but still, whatever. We all call him Frankenstein because it fits. So good. I mean,
Frankenstein was the real monster.
Yeah. Yeah. So, good choice on you guys. Thank you, everyone, on our Twitter.
And then on our Facebook, Dev, she said, I remember watching Little Monsters. That was definitely one of my favorites. Not really a scary movie. I mean, I remember that movie, but I thought that was pretty good because it actually went to like the monster realm. It's kind of like Monsters Inc. before Monsters Inc.
I actually don't remember Little Monsters.
It's a pretty good one. It's definitely Disney. It's a Disney movie.
I'm looking it up right now.
And then James, he's said, I always loved the classic Universal monster movies, which are good. Like Wolfman, The Mummy, Frankenstein, Dracula.
Oh, I remember. Sorry, I remember Little Monsters now. The one with fucking the blue,
the blue horn guy
who
didn't want to be a monster. He wanted to be his friendly imaginary friend instead.
That's a weird fucking movie.
I hope it was good.
Like, you gotta kind of wonder what that movie's gonna be like on LSD or something.
I'm sure they were on LSD.
But yeah, the Universal monsters are really good. Like, I always lean towards Frankenstein, but funny enough, I actually do have a favorite mummy one, but it's the Abbott and Costello Meet the Mummy. I don't know why, I just love that one.
Get out.
It's a solid comedy flick, okay?
I like when Scooby-Doo meets the mummy.
Oh my god, can we talk about fucking when Scooby and Shaggy are helping out like that boarding school, and it's like all the horror like girls and whatnot. Like that was a dope one. That was such a weird one. It was so good.
And then Lauren, she said Cat's Eye by Stephen King is her favorite creature movie with the creepy little troll that's in it. Scared, and she said the creepy with the creepy little troll that's in it scared the shit out of me when I was younger. That's probably why I love cats so much. Just quick synopsis, there's a little troll that steals the souls out of children while they sleep, and the only thing that like fights them is a cat, and this cat like swats it into a fan.
Okay, I changed my stance. That movie's on LSD.
And then another code name, Twanstein Buck. He said it.
I know that guy.
Yeah. Longtime friend. He said it had suspense, jump scenes, and a great backstory. And then Devin Martinez, he's like, he went technical on his. He's like, I mean, technically, monster movie before the zombie craze that turned it into its own genre, but Night of the Living Dead by George A. Romero, R.I.P.
I like that choice because he has a point.
Yeah.
Because Night of the Living Dead was actually a monster film before, like you said, the whole craze of zombie films.
Yeah, and then
because we gotta try to like put ourselves way back then. All right, racism's still a thing.
Yeah,
there's still no rights for gay people. Okay, cool.
Still no real rights for women.
No, still rights for women. All right, we're in there now. Cool. So we're in there. No one has ever seen zombie movies like that before. They've never seen a zombie movie at all. No. And what's also monumental about that film is that the protagonist was African American.
Yep.
And, what was it? There was also a monumental thing that happened in the movie. What was it?
The little girl killed her mom with the...
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Hoe. Get it with a hoe.
Killed that hoe with a hoe.
Yeah, pretty much.
Hoe aside.
Yeah.
But, yeah, like, that movie's... It's definitely not as terrifying now. But it's definitely... a landmark in the horror film genre.
Yeah, it's one of those movies that, like, if you're, like, a super horror fan, it's definitely one that you should watch. Just because, like, yeah, it might be a little slow paced. Oh, gross. Ew. It might be a little slower paced than most people are kind of used to, but, like, it's just one of those movies, like, it still has effect today. Like,
yeah.
It's still unnerving, especially just the way George A. Romero shot it.
Well, and the effects in that movie worked well because I think it was literally just, like, chicken and, like, pork they had in that movie. And it was just, like, I think one of the scenes is literally just a kid eating a drumstick. And it's just like, oh, my God, he's eating intestines.
Yeah, and it was also monumental for showing, like, one of the first big film adaptations of an evil child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Call back to our...
I know, right?
To earlier episodes.
Easter egg, kind of, maybe? Reference? I don't know. But no, yeah, definitely. That movie is monumental. So, yeah, great selection, everyone. Seriously. Yep. We loved hearing from you listeners. We love it when you participate in the listener participation corner. And with
not only does it give us, like, the little tickles, because that means people are listening to us.
Yeah, we love hearing from you guys. We love to connect with everyone. All of our listeners, we love hearing from all of you.
Yeah.
And with that being said, you have all earned your participation award. Yay! The only award that's worth the participation. So yeah, moving forward, do you want to jump on the next part?
Yeah. So as people know, like all genres tend to have a slowdown period.
I should probably let you know this is on Creature Feature, the show in general.
Oh.
So, but this also kind of encompasses all horror shows.
Yeah.
I found this mainly on Creature Feature because that was the most significant one.
Yeah. So it was, why it slowed down was TV horror shows of this sort became more scarce during the early and mid 1980s, partly because acquiring broadcast rights for these films became considerably more expensive in the new era of cable television. Another reason for the decline of these shows is the change in Friday and Saturday night viewer demographics, as young people are increasingly less likely to stay home on those nights because we all want to get shitty. And then the first feature-length film to include what are regarded as monsters were often classed as horror or science fiction films, like the 1915 German silent film The Golem, directed by Paul Wegener, is one of the earliest examples of film to include a creature.
Is it Wegener?
Yeah, so W's in German are pronounced as
I am so glad you said it, because I would have said Paul Wegener.
No, Wegener.
That's way better. So good on you, sir.
Yeah, German. God. Oh wow, it's actually kind of cool that like Germany's kind of what started off like a lot of these movies. Right? So like, and then the German expressionist Nosferatu in 1922, and the depiction of a dragon in Fritz Lang's Die Neblugen in 1924 followed tradition. In the 1930s, American movie studios began to produce more successful films of this type, usually based on Gothic tales such as Dracula and Frankenstein in 1931, both heavily influenced by German Expressionism, followed by The Mummy and The Invisible Man, 1932 and 1933, classified as horror films because that started to include the iconic monsters that everyone knows and loves today. Even though The Invisible Man is like very underrated.
It is. And
like when you think classic monsters, you never think The Invisible Man.
You know, and I think the reason for that is because when you see Frankenstein, he's definitely his own character. Well, Frankenstein's monster. Sorry.
Yeah.
When you see Frankenstein's monster, he's his own character. He's basically a jacked up zombie.
Yeah.
Like, but I mean jacked up like he's jacked.
Yeah.
Like, you know, zombie.
Well, and he's a jacked up because he's made from all different people.
Yeah, and then you have the Wolfman, who is, well, yeah, he's a ferocious Wolfman. He snarls and has teeth and everything.
You know what's funny though? Just going off of the Wolfman, I actually really liked the remake with Benicio del Toro.
I didn't think it was bad, but I think it could have been better in some areas.
Yeah, but like the thing that I liked about it was that it because a lot of people hated on it because it was so slow, like it was a slow pace. But like when you think about it, because they were going off of the original Wolfman look and everything, like in movies, so like I thought the pacing was perfect because that's what they were going for.
And that's cool. Like there's nothing wrong. I think that's cool. But when you're making it for modern age, you have to make it a little more intense.
I don't know, those scenes where he was the Wolfman, like when he tore up all those people on the bus.
I mean, those scenes, yes. But the scenes in between, like it just kind of like it for me. It was like it would drag. And then Wolfman, oh my god, shit's going crazy, and drag. Mm-hmm. And Wolfman, oh my god, shit's going crazy, and drag. Like, that's kind of how it came off and for a lot of scenes of that movie.
Whatever, you just don't appreciate art.
What was it? Oh no, but I think the reason, like, The Invisible Man never really stuck as much is because
he was just a guy.
He was just a guy. Like, you don't really see him. You don't see, like, his dark nature. Whereas, like, Dracula, you would see him like suck the blood from virgins and, you know, fucking take over women's minds.
He was the son of Satan.
Yeah, and like even with Jekyll and Hyde, like you would see the dark side of Mr. Hyde or Jekyll. Fucking who gives a shit?
Dr. Jekyll.
Dr. Jekyll.
Mr. Hyde is the evil one.
That's what I said.
No, it isn't.
Did I say Caitlyn Jenner again?
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. Shots fired. Which, to make my point clear, that's not a shot towards any trans people at all. It's just a shot at Caitlyn Jenner in general because I think she's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
But that's just me.
Again, she literally ran someone over and killed them.
Got an award.
And got an award.
So, that's an entirely different argument for another day.
Yep.
But, that being said, I think when it comes to monster movies, you have to be able to see the monster in order for it to be terrifying, because if you don't see it, then we're just scared of wind.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
It's The Happening all over again.
I actually liked that movie.
No.
I liked it because I loved the way people would die in that movie.
Yeah, that doesn't cover up that's a shitty movie.
I'm not saying it's not a great movie. I just said I liked the movie.
Well,
I'm aware of the type of movie it is. half the enjoyment of that movie is Mark Wahlberg's expressions. Just,
what?
What?
I'm talking to a plastic plant.
What? Oh, run! That's my favorite part. Is just
because there's no greater monster than planet Earth.
Like, I want to get rich enough to where I can hire Mark Wahlberg to do my reactions for me. So, like, that way, just like, if you're ever like, hey Matt, you're coming over, Mark, What? Huh?
Just send pictures of Mark Wahlberg making
Oh
these
my
faces.
god. Sorry, sidebar. So, lately I've been pissing off my dad. Because whenever he texts me, like, he texts me at, like, inopportune times, and so I've been responding with pictures and gifs of Hank Hill the entire time. And he's just like, so is that a yes? And so I'll just send him another picture of fucking, like, Hank Hill, just, like, looking angry. He just gets so mad, and it's so funny all the time. Okay, sorry, that was a sidebar. Alright, so, going forward, special effects animator Willis O'Brien worked on the 1925 fantasy adventure The Lost World. Based on the novel of the same name, the book and film featured dinosaurs, the basis for many future movies. He began work on a similar film known as Creation in 1931, but the project was never completed. 2 years later, he produced special effects for the RKO 1933 film.
Out of nowhere!
I knew you were going to fucking say it. The RKO 1933 film, King Kong, directed by Marianne C. Cooper. So it just
RKO out of nowhere!
And you know
he
what?
nearly broke him in half!
And you know what? When I was reading that over, I legitimately thought of King Kong RKOing a dinosaur. It just, watch out! Watch out!
Watch out, watch out, watch out! Take that, T-Rex!
Only WrestleMania! Only WrestleMania! And they just fucking see,
That
because
would be the greatest WrestleMania in history.
and then you just see like the other two dinosaurs like stand up with like fucking John Cena and start beating up on King Kong, and then you just see like Dwayne the Rock just like fucking pulled up, like he just stands up on like the ring with like his like signature look, and he's just like he just fucking jumps in, tag teams with King Kong, and King Kong and the Rock are fighting John Cena and the dinosaurs, and we are now making the plot for the best WrestleMania ever. Get on it, WWE.
That's the sad part.
What?
I could see Vince McMahon doing that.
That's
Except Roman Reigns.
Oh god.
Yeah, come on. He'd have to shoehorn Roman Reigns in there. He just comes and spears King Kong in the end, and everyone hates the movie and goes home all pissed off.
If there's any listeners out there who have a wrestling podcast, I want to hear this episode. Talk about it. But anyways, yeah, I want to talk about the effects though. So
Yeah.
Pretty monumental that most of these movies were just dudes in suits.
Oh, yeah.
And then on the other side of that, they were claymation.
Yeah, because the original King Kong was claymated. The one in black and white. It was a claymated King Kong.
When I think they also transitioned though with a dude in a mask.
Only on the close-up shots.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking
And
about.
you could actually see the dude's eyes. I go,
It was an early Mark Wahlberg. What? The wind? So,
why are you hating on Marky Mark so much?
I
Like,
don't
like him.
I don't hate him. It's just we can't deny that he has great expressions. Depending on your definition of great. But no, I think it's monumental because it's like, let's look at Pacific Rim and like Cloverfield and even like Jurassic Park, like huge ass, out of this world monster effects, right?
Yeah, because I say what people don't realize, like Jurassic Park is a horror movie.
Yeah.
Like, straight up. There's, like, intense, scary scenes. Like, everyone's like, oh, it's such a family-friendly adventure. A lawyer... You know how it's family-friendly? Is the lawyer dies.
Yeah, everyone likes it when the lawyer dies.
Yep. Everyone.
I even enjoy that scene every time to this day.
Yep, me too. I'm like, die.
Like, it made me kind of wonder, like, how would I defend myself in that instance if a T-Rex opened up the porta potty and that's how I was going to die? And honestly, I think that if it was going to happen, I was just going to die. I'm just going to turn around, put my hand into the toilet, and let first the dinosaur eat my shitty butt, covered in poop, going butt in first, and then make myself throw up. So as I turn around, I just throw up in the T-Rex's face, just...
Do you think you'd actually have the mindset to think about all of that as a T-Rex is staring you down?
I'm going to fucking try. Even have to shove my fingers down my throat and just...
Well, I mean, in 4 years, apparently they can recreate dinosaurs.
I'm just saying.
There's literally 4 movies.
5
5 now that show why this is a bad idea.
Yeah. That Facebook post has a point, guys.
Seriously.
Fuck's sake.
Seriously.
I swear to God, if somebody's trying to like weaponize a raptor,
It's who else? Who else would do it? Besides
USA, USA, USA.
Weaponizing dinosaurs.
Maybe Russia.
Nah, they would use mammoths. Let's be real.
Oh, yeah. I mean, not gonna lie, I would really love to have a T-Rex, or not T-Rex, Triceratops with miniguns.
Yeah, just running down. America!
Just like fucking walk up to Taco Bell.
Oh, yeah, I'll take 2 cheesy beating wraps.
Yeah, dude. Cody, do you want hot mild sauce? And you're just fucking on like a pterodactyl. You have to keep circling. What? What did you say?
This is why we need walkie-talkies, man.
Wasn't in the budget.
Yeah.
So if you want to hop over to our Patreon and help support our dream for weaponized dinosaurs,
so we can get those walkie-talkies.
you can find us over at patreon.com/punkrockhorrorpodcast. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for your donation to our walkie-talkies.
I swear to God, if someone's like, I'm not going over there, there's no way I'm supporting them getting weaponized dinosaurs.
You don't need that kind of negativity in our
Okay.
life.
Maybe we'd give you a weaponized dinosaur.
Yeah.
You don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe just don't be a dick about it. we keep sidebarring so fucking much in this episode. Sorry, everyone. I hope you're being entertained. We're being fucking entertained.
I know.
Anyways,
technically they're monsters. So.
But no, it's phenomenal to kind of like think about like all those rubber suits pave the way for all this like high-end monster movies. I mean, now we're getting
especially like Godzilla.
Oh my God, yeah.
And like up until, well, shit, even like as recent as the Godzilla 2000, like Godzilla 2000, not the shitty American one.
Oh, you mean the one where he comes back and
kills the American?
Okay, I know
kills
what it's
Zilla or whatever. That was still a dude in a suit.
And fucking even what is it? Oh my God, Shin Godzilla.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to watch that one so bad because it looks so much more creepier and like so much more terrifying as a Godzilla movie.
And it's a dude in a suit.
And since we're touching on Godzilla, we'll move on to this next point then. Also during the 50s, the nuclear concept for the beast from 20,000 Fathoms, along with real-life historical events, helped Japanese film studio Toho produce their first successful kaiju films. Godzilla, in 1954, has spawned the longest-running film franchise in history, and the titular monster has become one of the most recognizable monsters in cinema history. And that is fucking, like, weird how true that is, because...
Yeah, because Godzilla was straight up a movie made about, like, basically the horrors of nuclear war. Because, like, Godzilla, what people also forget is that in the very first Godzilla movie, he was the evil guy.
Yeah, he was the bad guy.
He was the bad guy, and he was the monster, and it was basically, like, Japan, like, kind of saying, like, this is how fucked up the nuclear bomb was.
Yeah.
Like, it's literally just a giant lizard that tears up everything.
Now give us your money. Mm-hmm. Like, and then they started introducing more monsters like Rodan, Mothra, King Ghidorah, Mechagodzilla. God, there's like such a long list, and I always forget like all the names that I used to know them by hand.
We touched on the main ones.
Yeah.
Especially seeing as how King Ghidorah is going to be the new villain for the newest Godzilla movie coming up.
Right? Like, I can't wait till they do like follow up with Mechagodzilla. But
yeah.
But that's what you're talking. But that's what I was going to bring up. It's like now we're getting the Avengers of monster movies.
Yeah, which I'm actually really excited for. Like, I know a lot of people. Like, I watched a YouTube video. I think it was off of Woke Culture that was talking about like the newest Godzilla movie and King Kong being a shared universe and stuff, and how like they didn't like the movies as much because the monsters weren't like the focal point of it.
They can fuck off.
Yeah, I thought it was great. Like, I actually like the concept of those movies mostly because like seeing as how they weren't the focal point.
Okay, hold on. Sorry. Before, I don't mean to interrupt you. I can understand the argument for Godzilla. How the fuck was Skull Island not focused on Godzilla? I mean, not Godzilla, King Kong, sorry.
Well, he wasn't in it the entire time. Like, you know...
But it was about giant monsters in fucking general.
I know.
And he was in there a lot more than people fucking remember.
Oh, I know.
Like, what are they gonna do for, like, the whole focal point of Godzilla? This is Godzilla eating bamboo. I mean, sorry, King Kong. This is King Kong eating bamboo. This is King Kong shitting near the bamboo. This is King Kong picking up his shit and throwing it at the bamboo.
Yeah, no, I know, but see, I actually really like the newest Godzilla like a lot.
I do too,
because he wasn't the focal point, like the main thing. He was just in like bits and parts of it.
Right.
Like, yes, I kind of wish his scenes weren't a little bit more, and the fight scenes weren't as like, you know, it was more like the older Godzilla movies where like you just saw the entire fight and stuff like that.
Are you really hoping that he was like flying on his tail and dropkick someone?
Well, I was a little bit. Not gonna lie, especially how beefy he was in this new one. Dude, he was like fucking Hulk Hogan, just like...
I know, he's just like...
He just like looked at the Mutos and he's just like, I'm here to fuck shit up. And so he was literally bullying him the entire movie. Like the one would fly up, he's like, no, and just like swat him down.
Okay, I like it down here too. I'll just stay down here.
Yeah, he's like, now give me your lunch money.
I want to tell my mom I fucked your mom, nerd.
Yeah. But like, I really like that because it made the experience when you actually saw Godzilla in the movie like that much better. You were wanting to see that monster so much, and when you saw him, like
the build up was great for it,
and it also like made his size so much like more intense and stuff like that. Because given the newest one that they made, like they actually made him like, I think they said like 20% bigger than the original Godzilla in size, but like it just made like the intensity of seeing him again like holy fuck.
Well, and I don't know if you had a chance yet, but there actually is a anime film that came out that's focused on Godzilla, and it's about like it's basically just like this space colony that comes back to Earth because Godzilla ravaged it, and so they're finally coming back like decades and centuries later to finally claim the Earth back, thinking that Godzilla died, and Godzilla didn't die. And so, like, the animate's actually really fucking good. Like, you see Godzilla come up and he just fucking wrecks shit. And it's so fucking dope that it actually, for the first time in a long time, actually kind of made me nervous to see Godzilla on the screen. Because, like, the way they do it in that, like, and I think it's just called Godzilla. It's on Netflix. I recommend it.
Is it on Netflix?
Yeah, it's like only an hour long. Like, it's actually really good, and I really enjoyed it. And like the animation's really, really well done. And like I said, when he comes on the screen in that like film on Netflix, it actually makes me nervous to see him because it's like you actually do kind of want the humans to win. Yeah. In this one, and then when you see Godzilla come up, you're like, "Fuck!" And it brings it right back to that original Godzilla film, the original giant monster film, where it's like, "Oh shit."
Yeah. Well, yeah. So where he was actually the villain.
Yeah, and he was actually like fucking scary and terrifying and whatnot.
Instead of like fucking baby Godzilla. That was the worst.
Oh my god.
Like, so like one of my biggest things so I think that's what makes monster movies and creature features so much better is when the focus isn't mainly on the monster. Right. Because then like it takes it out. Like, okay, so all the Godzilla movies where Godzilla was like the main focus and stuff, like was it King of the Monsters, I think it was. Right. Or War of the Monsters, where Godzilla was with his son, and he ends up fighting all of his like monsters on Monster Island or whatever.
I don't remember.
I think it's called King of the Monsters or something. I can't remember.
I would say it's King of the Monsters.
Yeah, it was a garbage Godzilla film because there was no like besides following a dude in a giant rubber suit, there was like nothing else to it. So like when they use the monsters like sparingly, like in the newest Godzilla, in King Kong's Skull Island, well, not as sparingly as that, but like even in Jaws, like you can even, because it's a creature, since that's a creature feature, because it's involving a creature, like they use the shark very sparingly, and it helped. Right. Like the whole focus was watching a shark, like just keep swimming, just keep swimming, eat, just keep swimming.
These are friends, not food. That's why we eat humans.
Yes, basically. Like, I think that's what makes creature features and monster movies so much better is when you don't get to see the monster as much. Like Cloverfield. Like, if you saw that tadpole-ass looking fucking thing, like, the entire movie, you'd be like, okay, this is just dumb. Right. But you only got to see him sparingly, and you got to see the destruction that he did. Like, that it did throughout the whole movie, but you barely got to see the monster. Like, I think those are, like, some of the best types of, like, monster movies.
I agree, and I think it's something to be said, because I understand the argument, like, it's this giant monster, how we're seeing so little of it when we should be seeing more. I think it's kind of an attest to the filmmakers to be able to make this giant-ass monster inconspicuous, and you're just kind of like trying to figure out who he is in it, or she, I guess, and you're just like, it builds up the intensity the entire time, because if you're focusing on the monster the whole time, the effects and the epicness is then wasted.
Oh, yeah.
Because then by the time it gets to the final conflict, if it even is fighting another monster, you're just kind of like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
But it's like with Godzilla we were talking about. Like the one with fucking...
Bryan Cranston.
Bryan Cranston, yeah. Like, that fight at the end is fucking badass. It is great. And I love the part where he opens up the monster's fucking jaw and just, like, breathes fire down its entire body. And I'm just like, oh my god!
It's just, shit!
Fuck him! Oh!
RKO out of nowhere!
He's going to steal this bitch! it's just like
I don't know,
it's so fucking good.
I think it was that part, and then the fact that like Godzilla just kills over afterwards. He's like, "Oh, it's time for a nap."
It's nap o'clock.
Yeah. But like, I just think that was I think if like we followed Godzilla throughout the whole entire movie, like especially because throughout that movie he was just traveling to find the Mutos.
Right.
Like it would have been garbage.
Exactly. And what I think, I gotta kind of think about it, like it's kind of funny. Like what if like, because I can't remember, did Godzilla just collapse on the beach or did he go back in the ocean?
No, he collapsed on the beach.
Okay,
and then he went back in the ocean.
So say he's just stayed on the beach, like what would that talk be like with like the city officials? So, we can't really repair the whole entire city until we move Godzilla. Okay? Is Godzilla dead? No. Then what's wrong with him? Just taking a nap.
Yeah.
Okay, so then why not wake him? You really want me to go wake him up again?
Yeah, want me...
Do we not remember all the shit he just did? Well, we gotta move him. Maybe we just leave him there.
You know what? Maybe we just build around him.
Honestly, he's the one calling the shots at this point.
Yeah, it's like...
we have to do something. That motherfucker just lit up a monster like a bright light, okay? I am not waking his ass up.
No. It's like, have you ever woken up someone sleepwalking? Think that, but that size.
But worse, but a nightmare. Literal nightmare.
Yeah.
Well, you either do it or you lose your job. You can go fuck yourself.
Yeah, well, I quit. You go wake him up. You do it. Hey, Steve! You want to go wake up Godzilla? Fuck you!
And then pans over to the monster. You see Funny Jog in Knoxville. Hi, I'm Giant Knoxville, and this is Waking Up Godzilla. Welcome to Jackass.
Yeah.
They just like fucking like do like the fucking buzzer with the tasers. And they just like Godzilla's fucking get up in the background while they're fucking running. He's like, oh my god, he's so pissed. He's so pissed. He's what the fuck?
And then the entire city's just gone. And you just see Carl in the back. Told you.
Don't fucking
called it.
Yo, you white people never listen to me.
Yeah.
Fucking don't. I don't know why you got a poke at where you shouldn't poke at.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Well, we at some point when we ever stop doing this podcast, we need to start getting into filmmaking and just make like the films that happen after the films.
Because during that entire fight, someone got fired from City Hall. Someone got fired.
What do we do? I don't know. We gotta fire someone. I don't even know. There's a fucking who do we go to?
Yeah, who do we go to about Mr. President?
And he says, I got nothing.
I got none. Fake news.
Fuck ISIS.
Yeah,
let's just blame ISIS. I don't know, man. Fucking, you got me. Did you grab it by the pussy?
Yeah. It's the fault of the LGBTQ community.
Can we put a wall around it?
Sir, he literally destroyed the wall.
I'm not a president. I'm a businessman. I don't even know why I'm here.
Yeah, I don't even. Why was this happening?
This went too far. Can I resign? Is that possible? I can't? No? Okay, whatever.
Nixon did it.
Yeah, but that was Nixon. Is Nixon?
Correct.
Mr. Godzilla, you turned down that wall.
You got the wrong president there.
I know, but that's what makes it funny. Is because I just want to picture like fucking Nixon going up to fucking Mr. Godzilla, you turned down that wall. I don't know why.
Why wasn't that ever on Futurama?
Fucking Nixon and his giant robot fighting Godzilla. Oh my god. If our listeners aren't entertained with how much we're getting sidebarred, then I don't know if we're doing a good or bad job.
No.
Oh my god.
I think we maybe spent like 20 minutes actually talking about giant monsters, the rest about Godzilla, and just try to wake his
say
ass
it was
up.
at least 30 minutes about giant monsters. But I think that's a
Shut
statement.
up, Harrison! You're not even supposed to be here.
But I think that's a statement, and that shows why we love these monster movies. Because first, so let's take it like this: the Dawn of the Dead remake absolutely terrified me.
Yeah.
And movies with snakes in them when I was a kid absolutely terrified me.
I'm tired of these monkey fighting snakes on this monkey fighting plane.
Or even movies with zombies terrified me.
Yeah.
And dolls terrified you when you were younger.
Yeah, dolls. And like, am I fascinated? Werewolves.
Well, and the reason I'm
terrifying.
bringing it up is because giant monster movies have, when we were younger, left us with more joy than terror.
Yeah, especially because with the giant monster movies, until I want to say Cloverfield, before like they really brought the terror back with like the giant monsters, they were more campy.
Yeah.
Like campy, fun, and like, oh, they're tearing down our homes. So yeah, go giant monster. It's kind of like how I feel like monster movies were for the most part, because like,
right.
especially every Godzilla movie, they're like, oh yeah, Godzilla's here to save the day. Steps on someone's home. That family's dead. Go Godzilla!
Yay!
But,
oh my god, he destroyed the hospital for the special need. Yay!
Yay! Go Godzilla!
Oh my!
I hate my life.
Oh my god, he destroyed the cancer treatment unit. Yay! Go Godzilla! Yay!
This is going to cost a fortune to rebuild again.
But yay! Go Godzilla! Yay!
Yeah, and then when you think of and then going back to the more terrifying monsters, that was a really weird transition, just like jumping. But the more terrifying monsters, like most of the time, when I was looking up creature features and stuff like that, a lot of the time the scary creature features weren't giant monster movies. They were like abnormally sized, like
I know,
like Placid and stuff. But
I was just
a lot of the
like
creature
Placid.
features that I kept seeing were more along the lines of like animals, like animals gone wild, like
fucking
gone wild.
Deep blue sea.
Show me your tits, snake. Like,
great, now I just have the picture of this fucking like crocodile and like a skimpy ass like cooker outfit. It's like, I'll show you a good time.
Welcome to the bayou.
They call me Cinnamon.
But like, that's when I mostly see creature features.
Oh my god, sorry.
What?
It's another sidebar, but it's fucking related.
But like,
so can I say it real quick, or do you want to finish your statement?
No, go ahead.
Okay, so it's really fucked up, but it's funny. So we have a buddy that a long time ago I used to live with in an apartment, and I was just like playing a video game, and like he started reading fan fiction, but the fan fiction he was reading was like raptor porn fan fiction. And I'm just like, now I just picture a fucking like, I just remember that moment where he starts reading this fan fiction about these raptors having sex with people, and I'm just like, fucking the internet was a mistake. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
That's my, so when I was like trying to get to like most of the movies that like scared me, when I think of, not that scared me, well, when I think of monster movies, moochies. I was thinking coochie.
No, not again. We're getting back into the raptor porn.
But when I was thinking about like when we pitched this idea to do this topic this week, when I thought of monster movies and creature features, I was thinking giant monsters and stuff because I grew up watching Godzilla, giant monsters and stuff.
Starship Troopers even with the giant bugs.
Yeah, had the giant bugs.
Well,
like,
and they weren't even really bugs; they were still aliens.
Yeah. But I was always thinking like giant monsters, and then I was looking at when I was trying to figure out my movie, most of the movies tend to like lean more towards fucking like either mutants and stuff, like The Descent with mutants, Jeepers Creepers with a mutant, or like humanoid type thing, or like regular animals that are just like super vicious. Like surprisingly, like Black Sheep was on there. That's such a garbage movie. Zombievers was considered on there, and I was like,
I mean, that movie's self-aware of what it is.
Yeah, but like I was just thinking to myself, I was like, I didn't know like creature features were like basic animals, because I didn't really think of those. And same when like aliens popped up, I didn't think of that as a creature feature. I thought it was more sci-fi horror. Yeah. So like it was, I don't know. I'm content with the movie that I ended up picking, which I'm super excited about because it leans more towards the giant monsters and like it being an actual horror like style instead of just like a rabid dog.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I understand what you're saying. Mine kind of more leans towards the person turning into a monster.
Yeah.
So, obviously I won't give it away, but we'll talk about it next time. But we are reaching the end. So that being said, final statements. I love monster movies, and I think that could be the same said for you, and you could probably just jump in on this with me, is that I want to see more monster movies. I want to see more being made. I'm so excited for the Avengers Monster Universe movies, and I just want good monster movies again. That's all I want, and it's definitely a part of horror film history, and just film history in general, that definitely deserves more attention and deserves a little more love, because at the end of the day, it's not about great writing. It's not about great acting. It's about tuning in and watching monsters destroy shit, because that is fun to watch.
Oh yeah, and especially because like, you know, with everything, all like even horror movies and a lot of movies nowadays getting more like they're leaning towards away from the campy side of like how the monster movies where everything has to be dark and gritty and realistic and stuff nowadays. Yeah. I would like to see a resurgence of monster movies, mostly because like sometimes we need that kind of movie. Like, you definitely need that kind of movie where it's like, yeah, it can have its scary moments or its intense moments, but like it still has its campier side, like the Godzilla movies.
Definitely.
But like, especially because like how everyone's saying like there's no original ideas anymore. We haven't even touched on what kind of giant monsters we can do. I mean, like, there's like them, giant ants and stuff like that, or like 8-legged freaks with the giant spiders. But like,
that's a great movie.
I know, I love that movie. One of the few movies I can stand with David Arquette.
That and
Scream.
No. Ready to Rumble.
Yeah, I love that movie so much. But like, I would love to see a resurgence of monster movies again, because like I kind of want that for my movies, where I can actually like escape what reality is. You
just want to fucking enjoy it and not have to critique it then.
Yeah, and it's like, and it doesn't need to be, like we said, it doesn't need to be Oscar worthy. It's a fucking giant monster.
Michael Bay proved that.
Yeah, I know. But it's like just a giant monster. Like Pacific Rim is one of the best monster movies I've ever seen. That's giant robots fighting giant monsters.
Legit.
So yeah, I think there should be more, and that's definitely like a creative point that like people I haven't seen in a really long time, and everyone's bitching about. There's no original ideas. Fucking make a monster movie.
Right. No, I agree completely.
So
that being said, we don't have any stories this week.
No.
Which, I mean, I guess like just our statement on that is like, we still are accepting strange stories from everyone. I mean, if it kind of dies out on its own, it dies out on its own. Obviously, we don't want it to die out, but we're not gonna force that segment to stay if it's more work than it does to keep it alive. And I mean, it's all basically on you listeners, and we're not blaming you guys or anything. We're just we're just saying that we're definitely still accepting strange stories. If you still have any strange stories that you want to send us, send them in. Whether it's about ghost stories, shaking hands with a serial killer, finding something weird on a wall, anything. We want to hear strange, out of this world stories that you've never really heard of before, or don't really hear that often. With that being said, if you want to keep up with everything that do you want to say anything about the strange stories?
Yeah, just until we like start getting stories, that segment's gonna be kind of like put off, but we'll still like say, I think we should still say that at the end of the thing. Just send us your stories if you want us to read them. If not, don't. I
agree.
Whatever.
So basically what we're saying is we'll put a pin in it for now until we start getting stories. But other than that, if you want to keep up with everything that we're doing, please like us and follow us on Facebook at Punk Rock Horror Podcast on there, and on our Twitter at officialphp, and then
on Instagram, Punk Rock Horror Podcast, #PHP Podcast.
And then if you want to send us your strange stories, please send it to our email at punkrockhorrorpodcast@gmail.com. And if you want to send us your band info for our band showcase interview episodes, please send them into our email as well, punkrockhorrorpodcast@gmail.com. With that being said, I got nothing else.
No, I'm good.
Oh, I guess if you like what we're doing and you want to support us, please go over to our Patreon and help us get our dinosaurs.
Yeah. I want my walkie-talkies, and I want to fly on a pterodactyl.
All right, guys. Thank you again for tuning in, everyone, and we hope you have a great week.
Thank you.
See you Friday. Bye.
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 Friday!
I said it last.